Welcome students, this is chapter 5, 7 Ages of Man. It's a poem of English literature. Class 8, subject English, book The Cambridge Express 8, and the teacher's name is Mr. Myla. Introduction of the poet. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet and actor widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. Actually, William Shakespeare is famous for his dramas like Hamlet, Othello, Macbeth, King Lear. They are 32 in number. He is often called England's national poet and the bard of Avon. He was born in April 1564 and died on 23rd April 1616. About the poem, The 7 Ages of Man. This poem is very interesting and based on real images of life. Actually, in this poem, The 7 Ages of Man, Shakespeare tells us about the life cycle of a human being. According to Shakespeare's character Jacques in As You Like It, men go through 7 stages in their lives. Number 1, infancy, when he is an infant. Number 2, schoolboy. Number 3, teenager. Number 4, young man. Then a middle-aged man. Then old age, and at the end, old age and death. We will come to know about these all stages through the lines of poem, The 7 Ages of Man. Ages of Man. This is a stanza 1, stage 1. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Merely players merely means just only. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. In the starting lines of the poem, the poet tells us that world is like a stage, and all the men and women are playing their roles in the world, like they are actors. They have their exits and their entrances. They come in the world, and after that they died after playing their role. And one man in his time plays many parts, and he divided those parts into 7 ages. At first, the infant baby. Mewling means crying, and puking means vomiting in the nurse's arm. This is the first stage of a man's life. He is a baby. He is mewling means crying and puking in the nurse's arm. In the poem 7 Ages of Men, Shakespeare compares the entire world to a theatrical stage where all the human beings perform their allotted role given by the god. Every individual has to go through 7 acts, that are 7 stages of man's life. The first stage in this phase of his life, man appears as a child in the world. As you can see in the pic, as a child he is a helpless creature. He cries in the arms of his nurse. For one reason or the other, he cries and vomits. Stage 2 and 3. Then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school. Then the second stage comes, that is the stage of a schoolboy. Then he becomes a schoolboy. Whining means complaining schoolboy with his satchel, with his bag. He goes to school with his bag and shining morning face. Creeping means moving slowly like snail, an insect, unwilling to school. He doesn't want to go to school. And then the lover. Then he becomes a lover, sighing like furnace, sighing like a hot place, with a woeful ballad. Woeful means sad, and ballads means song. He writes songs, sad songs, to make to his mistress eyebrow. He writes sad songs for his beloved, for his mistress eyebrow. The next phase of his life, man appears as a child in the world. He goes to school with a bag hanging from his shoulder, as you can see in the pic. He goes to the school creeping like a snail. He marches to the school unwillingly. Actually, he doesn't want to go to school. In the third stage of his life, a man plays the part of a lover. He grows into a young man full of desires, ambitions, and dreams. He becomes a romantic young man. He falls in love and sighs like a furnace. He begins to write sad poems to his beloved, and he cannot control his sad feelings. 4. Then a soldier. Then he became a soldier, full of strange oaths. Oaths means promises, and bearded like the pard, like a leopard. He keeps a beard like a leopard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel. Quarrel means fight, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. Even in the cannon's mouth, even he's in danger, but he is always seeking. Seeking means after, searching. The bubble reputation. Reputation is like a bubble, it is for a time being, but he is always after reputation, and he is jealous in honor, he is sudden and quick in fight. So these are the qualities of a man when he becomes a soldier, or when in the fourth stage of his life, man becomes a soldier who has learned queer words at this stage. Queer means strange words. He tries to give himself a formidable look, like inspiring look, with a beard like a pard. He is emotional and jealous. He quarrels, he fights with others for his honor and grace. He hankers, he is after, he is a strong desire after temporary and bubble fame. He is after fame. He wants to become popular. And then the justice. Then he becomes a judge, a middle-aged man, in fair round belly with good capon. Capon means a fat cock. Actually, here the example of capon is given because he is having a round belly. He becomes fat with eyes sphere. Sphere means he is having harsh eyes and beard of formal cut. He becomes very formal, full of wise saws. Saws mean advices, sayings. He always give others wise advices and modern instances, and he always give modern examples. Instances mean examples. He gives modern examples and wise advices to others, and so he plays his part. In the fifth stage of his life, he becomes a judge. He becomes mature and experienced in his thoughts. The heat of youth has completely cooled down, and he becomes very realistic. He wishes to grab wealth by foul or fair means. He begins to accept bribe and thus adds much to his material comforts. He becomes ease-loving and therefore becomes fat. His belly becomes round. He eats healthy fowls and chicken presented to him as a bribe. His eyes become sphere, and he grows the beard of formal cut. The sixth age shifts into lean and slippered pantaloon. Lean means weak, and pantaloon, it is a word which was used for pants in past. Actually, he is as much weak that his pants get loose for him. With his spectacle on nose means he wears glasses due to weak eyesight, and pouch on side. His youthful hooves is a kind of socks. Well saved, a word too wide for his shrunk shank. Shrunk means small in size, and shank means leg. Actually, his socks are hooves which he used in his past. Now they are also loose for his small sized legs, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish and treble pipes, and his manly voice, which was high pitched in when he was middle-aged man, now it is going to be changed into pipes like a child. Then in the sixth stage of his life, man grows old. He looks quite ridiculous in his movements. He wears glasses because his eyesight is weak. His shoes become wide for his feet. His voice suffers a change. It becomes a shrill and growing whistle. Stage 7. Last scene of all. It means it is the last stage of a man's life that ends this strange eventful history. Is second childishness. Second childishness means the man behaves like a child again, and mere oblivion. Oblivion means forgetfulness. He starts to forget everything. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. Sans means without. He is without teeth, he is without eyes means he is having weak eyesight, sans taste, and sans everything. He has nothing. However, in the final stage, the man turns into a child once again. He seems to forget everything. He becomes toothless, his eyesight is weakened, and he is deprived of taste. He is ready to leave this world. Shakespeare has the 7 stages of man's life with a touch of style and cynicism. Actually, he criticized the ages as well. In each stage, man imagines himself great and important, but there is something ridiculous in his behavior all through his life. Introduction of the poet. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet and actor widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. Actually, William Shakespeare is famous for his dramas like Hamlet, Othello, Macbeth, King Lear. They are 32 in number. He is often called England's national poet and the bard of Avon. This is your home assignment. Question number 1 is make sentences of the given words: infant, merely, satchel, creeping, choral, formal, lean, and string. Now question number 2 is write a short biography of William Shakespeare and paste his book also. Question number 3 is do you like the poem and different stages of man's life? Do you think the poet is right? Students, this is your written task. You have to do the objectives. Actually, you have to choose the correct answers. You will have to do the words meaning. After words meaning, you will do the central idea copies, then question answers. This is the RTC 1, RTC 2. To do this textual exercise, complete the following table which lists the 7 ages of man. Thank you. See you again.